Hi, Alicia.
Hey, Jared. Welcome, everyone, to Vibrations and Manifestations.
So I wanted to start today with something pretty personal that happened just the other night.
Yeah.
I just couldn't sleep. I had this disagreement earlier in the day, nothing major, but my mind just latched onto it.
Oh, I know that feeling.
Yeah, it was like this loop just playing over and over.
Yeah.
Words, the feelings, and it just kept replaying
Oh,
over and over. Like my mind was stuck on repeat, playing
yeah.
emotional discomfort's greatest hits.
Ugh, yeah. That sounds rough. We've all been there, right? Those mental loops, especially when you desperately want to sleep.
It felt impossible to break free.
It's like your thoughts just take on this energy of their own, keeping you totally wired.
Exactly. Honestly, the law of attraction felt incredibly real right then.
But not in the fun way, huh?
Definitely not. It was like
Hey.
every negative thought just pulled in another one faster and faster. I felt completely stuck in this downward spiral, wide awake at 2 a.m.
Ugh, the worst. So what did you do? Just write it out?
Well, I remember this self-hypnosis audio I had used before, Michael Seeley on YouTube.
Oh, yeah, he's great.
So I put that on, just trying to, give my brain something else to focus on, anything else. And it helped. Eventually, I drifted off.
That's good.
But then, like an hour later, boom, woke right back up. Same thought, same feeling.
Oh, it's back to square one.
Pretty much. So I put the hypnosis track on again,
Yeah.
and look, it wasn't magic, but it helped me get through the rest of the night.
Sometimes that's all you can ask for, right? Just getting through it.
Exactly. And the interesting thing was, when I woke up in the morning, the thoughts were still there, kind of hovering, but the charge was gone. They weren't consuming me anymore.
Ah, that shift, that's significant.
It really was. So I did a quick guided meditation just to start the day, really focused on what Abraham Hicks calls reaching for the next best feeling thought. Just something slightly less awful.
Yeah, just a gentle nudge upwards.
Right. And it made me think, this is what we need to dive into today. How do you actually stop that negative momentum, especially when your mind won't shut up and you desperately need sleep? How do you gently turn it around?
That's a fantastic topic because that experience you had, that loop, it really highlights something crucial Abraham Hicks teaches. The law of attraction is momentum.
Picture a car starting to roll down a hill. At
Yeah.
the very beginning, it's easy, right? A little nudge could stop it.
Mm-hmm.
But the faster it goes, the more speed it picks up. Well, stopping it gets way, way harder.
That's actually a fantastic way to put it, a really clear visual. And that momentum idea, it applies directly to our thoughts and our feelings too. The more we focus on something, anything, the more energy we're pouring into it.
Right.
And the stronger that momentum gets, which can be great if it's positive, but, well, not so great if it's something negative keeping you awake.
Yeah, that focused attention really does seem to crank up the volume on whatever's playing. So that's what we're going to get into today. How can we, hit the brakes on that negative momentum,
Okay.
especially when you've got those really persistent thoughts, the ones that are just the ultimate sleep stealers?
Yeah. After a night like the one you described, you definitely start hunting for solutions, don't you? Anything to quiet that mental noise.
Absolutely. And it actually led me back to thinking about why certain things seem to work, like guided meditations, maybe even self-hypnosis, for when your brain just refuses to cooperate. Abraham Hicks has a fantastic way of putting this. They say, sleep is the great resetter.
Okay.
Meditation is the gentle brake pedal.
Ooh, I like that. The gentle brake pedal.
And that lines up perfectly with what, neuroscience is telling us too.
Okay.
When we're caught in those loops, worry, stress, replaying things, it's not just a feeling. There's actual measurable activity happening in our brains.
Okay, let's unpack the science a bit then. What is actually going on up there when we can't switch off?
Well, there's a specific network in the brain that's called the default mode network, or DMN for short.
Got it.
This network is normally active when we're thinking about ourselves, replaying conversations, thinking about the past, worrying about the future, self-referential stuff.
Okay.
But in people experiencing stress or when we're trying to sleep but can't, this DMN can become overactive. It sort of keeps the brain stuck in problem-solving mode even when you want to rest. And this hyperactivity,
ah,
it triggers the release of cortisol.
cortisol. Right. The stress hormone. Definitely not our friend at bedtime.
Exactly right. Elevated cortisol messes with our natural sleep-wake cycle, our circadian rhythm. It actually delays the production of melatonin.
The sleep hormone.
And it promotes this state of hyperarousal. Makes it even harder to drift off.
So it becomes a vicious cycle.
Totally. A negative feedback loop. Poor sleep leads to higher cortisol, which then makes sleep even worse.
Wow. So when your mind is racing, it's not just, in your head. It's a real biological stress response, actively blocking sleep.
You nailed it. That's the key takeaway. We need to address that underlying brain activity.
Okay, so it's biological, makes sense why just willing yourself to sleep doesn't work.
And it gets compounded by something called cognitive arousal.
Cognitive arousal.
Yeah, it's essentially that repetitive negative thinking, the rumination we keep talking about.
Okay.
High levels of that cognitive arousal. They delay sleep onset even more because they ramp up your sympathetic nervous system.
That's the fight or flight response.
Exactly. Heart rate goes up, you feel tense. And at the same time, it reduces the activity of the parasympathetic nervous system.
Which is the rest and digest system, the calming one.
That's the one. So you're physically less able to relax.
Right.
And studies actually link this high cognitive arousal directly to taking longer to fall asleep and just getting less sleep overall.
Okay, wow. So our brains get stuck, stress hormones flood in, our bodies get wired. It's quite the cascade.
It really is.
So what can we do? How do we actually interrupt that cycle and, find some calm when we're trying to sleep?
Okay, so this is where practices like meditation and hypnosis can be incredibly helpful. The research is showing that these kinds of interventions can genuinely help deactivate that thought spiral.
How?
Well, they seem to work by quieting that default mode network, the DMN we talked about.
Ah,
They help reduce cortisol levels, and they help shift your nervous system back towards that rest and digest state. Remember the thought momentum.
yeah.
Neuroscience points to the DMN as the network really fueling that repetitive energy. So calming the DMN is like applying that gentle brake.
That's really encouraging. So how does something like, say, mindfulness meditation specifically help with this?
Mindfulness meditation has been shown quite consistently to reduce DMN activity
How?
by intentionally shifting your focus to the present moment. It can be something really simple, like just paying attention to your breath.
Okay.
That act of focusing here and now helps curb the rumination, the mind wandering into worries.
Right. Less fuel for the DMN.
Exactly. Plus, meditation helps lower cortisol and boost that calming parasympathetic activity. And even specific techniques, like doing a body scan or repeating a mantra, can actively disrupt those repetitive thoughts, potentially shortening the time it takes you to fall asleep.
Okay. And what about hypnosis? Like those self-hypnosis audios, how do they fit in?
Hypnosis works a bit differently, but towards a similar goal. It mainly redirects your attention away from the stressors,
Okay.
often using guided imagery. And this seems to dampen the connectivity within the DMN that's linked to rumination. It also triggers physiological relaxation, like your breathing slows down, which directly counters that stress-induced fight or flight activation.
It's pretty amazing that these practices can have such tangible effects on our brain activity, our hormones. Is there solid data on how well they actually work for sleep?
Yeah, there really is. Some studies have found meditation programs can improve sleep efficiency. That's the time you're actually asleep in bed by as much as 30% in people with insomnia.
Wow, 30%.
And that improvement was linked specifically to reduced pre-sleep cognitive arousal,
Hmm.
less racing thoughts,
Makes sense.
and hypnosis. It's been shown to increase the duration of slow-wave sleep.
That's the really deep restorative kind, right?
Exactly, especially in people who are, more susceptible to hypnosis. Interestingly, though, some research suggests guided meditation might offer slightly more consistent benefits for reducing that cognitive arousal and improving overall sleep quality compared to hypnosis alone.
Hmm.
But importantly, both are generally seen as really low-risk tools to try.
That's really good to know. Okay, so besides formal meditation or hypnosis, what are some other maybe quicker, practical tools we can use right there in bed when the thoughts are starting to spiral?
Yeah, absolutely. There are several really accessible things. You mentioned the self-hypnosis or guided meditations apps, YouTube, lots of resources there.
Right.
Also, soothing music or white noise or even listening to a calming storytelling podcast can work, just provides a different focus.
Yeah, diverts the attention.
And sometimes, honestly, the simplest thing is just mentally stating to yourself, nice and calmly, I don't need to figure this out right now.
I like that. It's like giving yourself permission to just stop for the night.
Exactly. Creates a little pause.
Yeah. Now, we often talk about, shifting your vibration, especially drawing from Abraham Hicks. How does that connect here with quieting the mind for sleep?
Oh, it's a very relevant connection. When you're caught in those negative thought spirals, feeling anxious or frustrated.
You're in a lower vibrational state, essentially.
Right. And trying to force really specific positive thoughts or outcomes from that place, it often just creates more resistance. It doesn't feel believable.
Yeah, I felt that. Trying to jump too far.
So the idea is to gently step back, move from those specific negative thoughts to maybe more general, slightly better feeling thoughts.
Hmm.
For anyone familiar with the law of attraction, this deliberate shift is exactly how you start to raise your vibration.
Okay.
You're consciously choosing thoughts that feel just a little bit better, which calms your mind and shifts your energy.
Okay, can you walk us through an example? Like, how would that actually sound in your head?
Sure. Let's say you're lying there and the big thought is, ugh, I can't pay my bills. That's specific and probably feels pretty bad.
Yeah, definitely anxiety provoking.
So trying to jump to money flows to me effortlessly might feel like a lie right then.
Right, too big a jump.
So instead, you reach for something slightly more general, slightly less painful. Maybe something like, okay, I've figured things out before.
Mm-hmm. That feels a little better, a bit more possible.
Exactly. And from there, maybe you can reach for, I am resourceful.
Okay, yeah, building on it.
Feels a little stronger, right? And then perhaps you land on something like, I'm doing the best I can right now. And that's enough for this moment.
Ah, okay, so it's this gradual climb, reaching for the next best feeling thought, not trying to leap to the top of the mountain?
Precisely. It's a gentle easing of the momentum. And Abraham Hicks actually talks about the 17-second rule in relation to this.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
The idea being, if you can hold a slightly better feeling thought for just 17 seconds,
Uh-huh.
it starts to gain its own momentum. It makes it easier for the next similar good feeling thought to come to you.
Like building a little positive snowball instead of the negative one.
You got it.
Yeah.
Helping to shift that mental groove.
That's a really helpful way to think about it. So even if our mind feels like it's totally racing, how can we try to quickly drop into a more meditative state right there in bed? Any quick tips?
Yeah, definitely. Even with a super busy mind, focusing on your breath is always, always the anchor. Just noticing the air coming in and going out.
The classic.
It's classic because it works. You can also try using a calming mantra, just a short phrase you repeat silently. Something like, I am safe, or simply let go, or even this too shall pass.
Mm-hmm. Simple things.
And maybe the most important thing, allow yourself to be a beginner every single time. Don't judge yourself if your mind wanders off a million times.
Yeah, the judgment just adds another layer of stress.
Exactly. The intention to find calm is what really matters. Just gently bringing your focus back again and again.
And in a way, doesn't our body's natural sleep cycle kind of act as a vibrational reset too?
How do you mean?
Like when we finally do fall asleep and then wake up, often things feel less intense, more neutral. Like we get a fresh starting point for our focus in the morning.
That is a beautiful way to look at it, yes.
Yeah.
Sleep truly is a powerful resetter on multiple levels,
Ugh.
physically and energetic.
Okay, so we've talked about the science why our thoughts spiral, the DMN, cortisol, and we've covered how things like meditation and hypnosis can help calm that down.
Right, applying the gentle break.
And we've touched on practical tools, redirecting focus, reaching for better feeling thoughts.
Yep.
So now maybe we can actually put some of this into practice.
I think that's a great idea. Let's maybe guide you, our listener, through a short meditation right now.
How?
Something designed to help reset and just move towards a slightly better feeling place.
Wonderful. Okay. So everyone listening, let's just shift gears here. We'll slow down our voices a bit.
Find a comfortable position wherever you are. Lying down is great, or sitting is fine too. Just allow yourself to settle in. No right or wrong way.
Gently close your eyes if that feels okay for you. If not, you can just soften your gaze, looking down towards the floor perhaps.
Let your shoulders relax. Let them drop down away from your ears. Release any tension you might be holding in your jaw. Just let it go slack.
And now, take a nice, slow, deep breath in through your nose. Fill your belly with air.
Hold it just for a moment at the top.
And now, slowly, release it all out through your mouth, maybe with a little sigh.
Let's do that one more time. A deep inhale, feeling the air expand within you.
And a slow, complete exhale, just letting go of any tension you notice.
Feel the support beneath you, the bed, the chair, the ground. Just notice that feeling of being held. You are safe here. You are supported.
In this moment, right now, there is absolutely nothing you need to figure out, nothing you need to solve. Just give yourself permission to be present.
Now let's gently begin to shift our focus, guiding it away from any thoughts that might feel heavy or anxious or negative.
And towards things that are working, even the small things. Moving away from what you might fear.
And towards what you genuinely love or appreciate or simply feel okay about. Let these thoughts come gently. No forcing.
I appreciate this quiet moment, this pause.
I appreciate my breath. Always here. Steady. Reliable.
I appreciate my body for everything it does without me even asking. Breathing, healing, being.
I appreciate my mind. Even when it gets busy, I appreciate its underlying intention, which is often just trying to protect me.
I appreciate any feeling of softness I can find right now. Softness in my body or just a soft intention.
I appreciate the space that exists between thoughts, those little moments of quiet.
I appreciate the comfort in knowing I can always begin again. This moment is a new beginning.
I appreciate the stillness I can sense around me, or perhaps within me.
I appreciate any love that is present in my life. Love I give, love I receive. Even just the idea of love.
I appreciate that I am learning to soften, learning to trust, learning to allow things to be as they are, just for now.
Now just allow yourself to linger for a moment. Pick one of those thoughts, or perhaps another simple appreciation that came to you. Whichever one felt the most soothing or the most true right now.
Hold that thought gently in your awareness. Let it fill your mind softly. Maybe for about, say, 17 seconds or so. Just resting with it.
Feel that gentle, positive feeling. Allow it to expand just a little. Let it ripple outwards.
And just trust. Trust that the next good feeling thought, or perhaps just a feeling of ease, will find you naturally. No need to strive for it.
I like how it feels to feel just a little bit better.
I like knowing that ease and flow are always possible, even if just for a moment.
I like the quiet magic of being able to start over, fresh, right now.
Now let's take another deep, calming breath in.
And release it slowly. Imagine any remaining tension, any tightness just flowing out of your body with that exhale, washing away.
With each breath out, perhaps you feel a little lighter, a little calmer, a little clearer.
Let your mind rest now. If thoughts drift in, that's completely okay. It's what minds do.
Simply notice them, maybe like clouds passing in the sky. No need to grab onto them or follow them down a rabbit hole.
You don't need to analyze them right now. You can just gently, kindly return your focus back to your breath or back to that feeling of peace in this moment.
I allow ease to be present in my life now.
I allow peace to settle deep within me.
I allow clarity to come in its own perfect timing. No rush.
I allow myself to rest, truly rest.
And I allow joy, or at least contentment, to meet me right here, right now.
You're doing beautifully. Just by being here, just by setting this intention, you are not behind.
You are simply becoming, gently, steadily, in your own perfect way, in your own timing.
When you feel ready, no rush at all. Just begin to gently bring your awareness back to the space around you.
Maybe start with small movements, wiggling your fingers and toes.
Perhaps gently rolling your shoulders back and down.
And only when it feels right for you, you can gently allow your eyes to flutter open.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, and thank you for taking that moment for yourself, for prioritizing your peace.
So now that we've had that little reset, we really want to encourage you listening to use these kinds of techniques whenever you find yourself caught in those thought spirals, whether it's bedtime or, frankly, anytime.
Remember that power you have to just pause, consciously reset your focus, even for a moment, and to gently, gently redirect your thoughts towards something that feels just a tiny bit better.
And please remember, it's so important. You don't have to solve everything all at once, especially when you're lying in bed trying to sleep. Sometimes just finding that one slightly better feeling thought, that's a huge victory.
It really is. That's the gentle brake pedal in action.
We also really encourage you to maybe revisit this guided meditation if you found it helpful. Bookmark it for times you feel anxious or overwhelmed.
Or even create your own version, your own little rampage of appreciation, just mentally listing things you feel good about, big or small. Your comfy bed, a nice cup of tea you had, anything.
Yeah, customize it. And, to really support these mental techniques, there are also several really practical, science-backed things you can do for better sleep hygiene overall.
Absolutely. These complement the mind work beautifully. Consistency is key, for one.
Right. Maintaining a consistent sleep schedule, going to bed and waking up around the same time each day.
Even on weekends, as much as possible. It really helps regulate your body's internal clock.
And your sleep environment. That makes a big difference too.
Huge. Keep your bedroom cool, dark, and quiet. Think cave-like.
Blackout curtains can be amazing.
Yeah.
Earplugs, maybe a white noise machine if you need it.
And really try to reserve your bed just for sleep and, well, intimacy. Avoid working or scrolling or watching TV in bed if you can.
Yeah.
Keep it as a sanctuary for rest.
Good advice. What about other relaxation techniques?
Yeah, incorporating others into your wind-down routine can be great. We mentioned body scans. There's also things like the 4-7-8 breathing technique. Inhale for 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8.
Mhm.
Guided imagery can be nice. Loving kindness meditation. Even something as simple as gentle humming can actually stimulate the vagus nerve and promote calm.
Humming. Interesting. And what about movement?
Gentle movement, yes.
Yeah.
Not intense workouts right before bed, obviously.
Yeah.
But practices like gentle yoga, tai chi, or qigong done mindfully, they can help release physical tension beautifully.
Or yoga nidra. That's the yogic sleep meditation, right?
Exactly. Very deeply relaxing for many people.
And finally, just general healthy habits throughout the day matter too, right?
Definitely. The usual suspects: avoid caffeine, especially later in the day. Be mindful of alcohol and heavy meals close to bedtime, as they can disrupt sleep.
And the dreaded screens. Limit that blue light exposure in the hour or two before bed.
Yes. Read a physical book instead.
Mhm.
And try to get some regular physical activity during the daytime that helps build sleep pressure. Just maybe not super vigorous exercise right before you want to wind down.
And one last thing some people find helpful,
Hmm.
journaling.
Mm.
Or just some quiet reflection time in the evening, getting thoughts out of your head and onto paper before you get into bed.
That can be really effective for processing the day. It's all about finding what works for your unique system, what helps you shift into that more peaceful state, ready for rest.
Absolutely. It's about experimenting gently and finding your own recipe for calm.
Well said.
And, thinking about sleep specifically, our body's natural sleep cycle itself is kind of a vibrational reset button.
Interesting.
You often wake up feeling more neutral than when you went to bed, right? And that gives you a fresh chance, a clean slate each morning to consciously choose where you want to put your energy and attention.
That's actually a really comforting thought. Like every morning is a do-over, a chance to start building better mental momentum.
Exactly right. And once you do start to feel even a tiny shift towards feeling better, it's so beneficial to really lean into that. Savor those good feelings.
Okay.
This is where deliberately appreciating things comes in, noticing the good stuff no matter how small it seems. It's such a powerful way to build up and sustain that positive momentum.
I love that idea. Like actively watering those little green shoots of positive feeling.
Precisely. It doesn't have to be complicated. Lying there, maybe it sounds something like this in your head. Okay, I appreciate how comfortable my bed feels right now. That's nice.
Mhm.
I appreciate the quiet in the room. I'm thankful I have this chance to just rest. I appreciate my body. It knows how to heal, how to restore itself.
Yeah.
I love knowing I can choose my thoughts. I remember other times I felt peaceful. I trust that things generally work out okay. I appreciate the feeling of just letting go even a little. I'm safe right here, right now. It's about finding anything that feels even slightly good in that moment and just focusing there.
It feels really soothing just listening to it. Grounding, like you
Mhm.
said, intentionally watering the seeds of positive momentum.
Exactly. So yeah, as we kind of wrap this up, the main thing to remember is the power you have. You can pause when you feel that negative momentum starting to build.
Right.
Remember, you have that ability to gently reset your focus, redirect your thoughts, even if it's just tiny shifts,
Little step.
little steps. And maybe the most important thing, you don't have to figure everything out all at once. You don't have to solve the big problem right now. Just reach for one thought that feels just a little bit better.
Mm.
And trust. Trust that those better feeling thoughts, they're always available. They're kind of already reaching for you, waiting for you to connect.
So the affirmation for today could be something like, today, I'll let go of the fight. I'll let myself float. And I'll trust that the better feeling thoughts are already reaching for me.
That's beautiful. Let's both affirm that. Today, I'll let go of the fight. I'll let myself float. And I'll trust that better feeling thoughts are already reaching for me.
We really encourage you to try these tools, especially that idea of reaching for the next best feeling thought, or even trying a short appreciation practice.
Absolutely. See what resonates. And thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive.
Yes, thank you for listening. We hope you'll subscribe to Vibrations and Manifestations.
So you don't miss out on more uplifting ideas and helpful conversation. And if this deep dive resonated with you today, maybe think about sharing it with someone else who might be struggling with those thought spirals too.
Yeah, please do.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone.
Until next time.